And now, the Big D and Bubba Weekly Podcast.
Big D and Bubba, they have a show 5 days a week, but they don't get to say everything that's on their mind, so they have an extra one, and that's how we get the podcast, the podcast, the podcast. Big D and Bubba podcast, the podcast, the podcast. Big D and Bubba podcast.
It's the podcast.
Now with cupcakes.
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
The
It's on
podcast
YouTube.
sponsored by Pickle Jar. Pickle Jar is like that amazing, awesome, wonderful friend that always knows about great new music before everybody else. You got exclusive pics and videos. There are cupcakes in here. Plus, you can enter to win some really fantastic flyaway experiences. What?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, no, it's Wonder Boy over here. He takes a cupcake, he smells it, and he goes, kind of like shrugs, like, it's out, and then he eats it. I was like, wow. Wow, what a...
And then I almost choked to death.
He's like,
making me laugh.
it was just the smell, and it was like,
And you just throw it in my
and then
mouth
just
like
eats
a
it.
giant.
Like, I can just see you just walking around people's tables at a restaurant.
Carson, would you like a little cupcake?
I like a cupcake.
It's on YouTube.
Don't forget you can enter those flyaway experiences, tickets to VIP events, and more. Download for your iPhone or your Droid at picklejar.com.
Eat as much as you want.
How do you eat your cupcakes? Do you eat them like just you bite them
Well,
as they
these are
are?
little tiny.
Well,
like,
these, no, I usually, if they're real cupcakes, I take the stump and put it on top like
Yeah,
a
that's what I do.
sandwich.
So you make a sandwich, yeah.
Yeah,
same.
but
Yeah, you got to pull them apart.
Oh, look at you.
okay, that looks like a golden Oreo.
And
Oh,
Patrick's
man, there's
daughter's in
so
here.
much.
She just made one. A little sandwich.
This is what is this? What is it? What's the point?
So Marianne sent these. I guess this is either an ACM victory cupcake or
See you
a
later.
see you later. Glad I'm leaving cupcake. I'm not sure.
Smell you later.
I'm trying to let Carson pick first
Oh.
so I can
I don't.
pick.
I'll try the. Do you want red velvet?
No,
There's only
you're
one.
good.
Okay.
I'll come back.
Yeah, because I was eyeing this one. The one with the little
Okay.
cookie dough dollop.
Evangelin's usually so scared of the microphone. I'm surprised she stayed in here this long while we were live. It's cupcakes.
Cupcakes are doing that, right?
What happens?
I wish I could eat that kind of stuff. I feel so gross.
Oh yeah, it
Bill.
makes you kind
I
of.
don't feel good at all.
Makes you kind of like
move
that,
that
not me.
Push that microwave on.
This?
Oh, yeah, it gets a weird thing. So the ACM Awards last night. A lot of people are like, "You guys gonna go?" And we're like, The problem is that it's a Thursday, and for us to leave, get to Dallas, do all the events and stuff there.
We
would have had to
Tuesday, right?
Yeah, we would have had to leave Tuesday because they do a thing on Wednesday before for the
Yeah,
ACM
and the
for all
morning
radio.
flights. And so
It was just going to be too hard.
They tell the radio winners, and most of the, like if you're running Station of the Year or whatever, you could be anywhere in the country. So if you're coming from Pensacola to Dallas, you can get a flight with 2 weeks' notice. It's not like there's a run on flights between Pensacola and Dallas.
Yeah, big shout out to our Big Moose in there.
Yeah,
all,
exactly.
Moose.
But if
Station
you're
one.
coming from Nashville, the good flights have all been booked for a
'Cause we have
long
artists.
time because everybody, the whole music industry goes
Artists,
from here.
musicians, management, labels, promotions. It's a ton of people.
The worst part was that we couldn't get a flight back today until like 9 o'clock tonight.
No.
There was
Yeah, a friend of mine, her flight's at 6 tonight,
Yeah,
and she's just sitting there.
yeah, just ugh.
Well, this is why they need to do the award shows, all of them,
In
for
Nashville.
country music in Nashville, because that's where everybody lives. I mean, every one of the performers has a home in the Nashville area. Nobody would have had to arrange flights. Nobody would have had to arrange hotel accommodations. It would have been much easier. They would have had their own personal tailors to be able to, accommodate them. And I know a couple of them. Our friend Stephanie, she did some tailoring for several of the stars
Oh, did
leading
she?
up to it. Yeah,
Oh, good.
and
good.
so it's like,
Nashville knows how to party. Like it's a destination town. It's like when you watched the draft and it was in Kansas City or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
Man, God bless Kansas City. I love Kansas City
Yeah.
barbecue.
Yeah.
But it looked like it was hee-haw. It was like this. It was like I was like, okay, here we go, and it's like, and this aerial jib shot comes down. I'm like, is this like one of these free festivals shows they do every Friday in August?
That's right. It's live after 5.
It's just like I'm on the levee
downtown
in
Kansas City.
I'm in Baton Rouge. We're doing the Friday 5 thing.
Everybody's here to see
Tommy Boudreaux. And then like everyone, no one knows who it is because you got homeless guys walking around. Hey.
By the way, can you tell we did a lot of emceeing the live after 5?
Oh my
downtown
gosh!
Baton Rouge?
Wow,
Yes.
it was always. I'd be like sitting backstage and a guy just walk up, hey man, and I'll just go, I don't have any cash. All right. It's just a thing. Yeah.
Wow.
But then
They were the performers.
And you see, like, you watch them do the draft, and it's like, and then you see hours where Broadway shut down, and it's people as far as you can see.
It's just a party.
Oh, and it's the lights and the screens.
Certain cities are built for tourism, and that's just
New Orleans?
New Orleans, New York City, Nashville, Austin, to
Vegas.
Vegas. I mean, there's a lot of
LA
places
to a
that are
point.
built
LA.
for tourism, and they can handle an influx of 500,000 people without batting an eye.
Yeah. I mean, think about last weekend. Just Taylor Swift alone is 200,000 people.
Actually, I saw the number was closer to 5.5.
Wow.
So it was like
for the whole
550,000
weekend.
people
Right.
He was
extra.
just saying Taylor.
I'm just saying Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah, because
and-
you had graduations. There were other concerts.
Janet
there were the shows.
Jackson
Yeah,
on
Janet
Friday.
Jackson was in
Bachelorette
town.
parties.
Yeah, there was so much.
When we went to Dallas, now this time it was in Frisco, but it was at the Cowboys Stadium, which is where is AT&T Stadium? Is it in Arlington or?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
There was nothing around. Like the stadium's there. It's a great place for a football stadium because there's nothing around. And then like after we left the awards, it was empty. Like you leave the award show, the CMAs or the Bridgestone in downtown Nashville, and you leave and you're in downtown Nashville.
You're there.
All the stuff is there. I went to Cody Johnson's after party. It was at a bar like three blocks or 3 bars away.
Yep.
I'm like, and you're in Dallas, and you're like, well, I guess we have to get a lift.
And
I'm not
then
really
you don't
sure.
really know where you're going.
No.
Anyway, I mean, it looked great. But I'm just saying, Bobby's right. I wish they would do it all here.
It just
Makes
and
sense.
we have a friend who does like travel booking for all these bands, and they, because of the Morgan announcement, there was so much that changed. Like over the course of the entire summer, they've been working like crazy to reschedule other bands who are taking Morgan's place on a lot of these festivals. Oh. And not only just Morgan, but Morgan's tour. So they're trying to replace all this stuff, and then you have the cancellations for getting people to Dallas because Morgan wasn't going to be there, and he had another band, I forgot who it was, that went and took his place and did the performance, and I'm like, that's crazy that there's so much to it. It wouldn't have been a big deal at all for anybody to shift gears, knowing that it could have been something local.
I think that I wonder if Cole is getting push or like hate or something because he posted something on Twitter. Someone saying, so happy for Cole Swindell winning the 2 CMAs or ACM Awards, all the haters and blah blah such and such, and he responded with like, no one can take this moment away from me right now. I'm so happy right now, and this and that, blah blah blah. People just can't. I mean, you just can't be happy. Listen, it's
Right.
The comparison is a thief of joy, and that's exactly what. And everyone, we all have our horses, and you're like, yeah. Like I was just, like I talked this morning. I was disappointed actually McBride didn't win, but I'm happy for Laney. I mean,
Yeah. It wasn't like anybody lost because everybody there deserved to win. Everybody nominated could have easily made a claim for any one of those awards.
Yeah.
Somebody got really mad at me because I said that Chris Stapleton didn't deserve Entertainer of the Year over Morgan. And I said, that's just my personal opinion. They got very fired up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, I'm not
what
taking
part of
anything
opinion
away.
do you not understand?
Right. I'm not taking anything away from Chris Stapleton. Yes, he's amazing. I think that goes without saying. However, I think for Entertainer of the Year, personally, Morgan has done more for country music this past year than anybody.
I think Jason said it best. What else does he have to do?
Yeah.
I mean,
Pretty much.
I mean, do what? Anyway.
But Chris Stapleton never won it before. And my favorite part was, of everyone there, he looked the most shocked.
Yeah, he did.
He really, you could tell that was not a like fake Taylor Swift. Oh my gosh. Like it was Wait, what?
Say what?
Y'all
Did
read
they
that right?
Is this one of those things like the Oscars where they read the wrong name? Did you read the wrong name?
Did you grab the wrong envelope?
Oh, man.
Because that's me.
So anyway, yeah.
Yeah. And again, I'm super happy for Chris. You know, I'm not sad that Morgan didn't win. I'm super stoked for Chris. And I'm super stoked for all the winners and all the nominees.
That makes me think we're just talking about us being there. We won the CMA at the best possible time. That we were there sitting in the third row to watch that Chris Stapleton, Justin Timberlake. That's the best 8.5 minutes of live music I've ever seen in my life.
Me too.
That was amazing. I remember
unbelievable.
that.
And it was on, so they do like the halves, like the half of the stage is one act, and then they close that so they can work on it while the other half, somebody keeps performing. So we were right there. It was right in front of our side. I was just, so fantastic.
I just remember Kelly being so out of his brain excited about it.
Oh, yeah.
He's such, and we did an event with him a couple of weeks ago downtown, and he was bringing on Gary LeVox from Roscoe Flats, and he was such a fan. He was a fan of Gary. He was just supporting him, and you see him doing that. I saw him do it that night years ago at CMAs. He was just being supportive of Stapleton and
yeah, at the time,
Justin.
Chris Stapleton, before that night, was just a guy that everyone in the music industry knew who he was, but
he sang in the background.
Yeah, the average fan was like, now who's that guy again?
Oh, yeah, he's the guy who was in the background for Drink a Beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he write a bunch of those songs? That's cool.
Some dude I went to college with posted on Facebook this morning after reading about last night's awards. Didn't even watch them, right?
Okay.
This what they're calling country. And I'm not normally this guy. I try not to get into social wars. But I reply back, I'm like, so Chris Stapleton got Entertainer of the Year. I'm sorry, what's not country about him?
Chris Stapleton.
Crickets. I keep checking my phone waiting for this guy to
Yeah,
reply.
he can't reply anymore because
Nope.
is this a country music professional?
No, it's a guy that was in radio 20 years ago, and he'll post things about, really thinking about getting back into radio.
Well, I just didn't know if maybe it might be
No.
somebody who's just trying to start something because there's
No, it's
a lot
just a
of
dude
people.
looking for attention.
Well,
And I
that's-
gave it to him. It's my bad.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There's people looking for attention just to get that dopamine hit of an online argument.
Now I will say Hardy's thing that he did was wow.
Yeah, that was-
wow.
He put the hard and hardy,
There were a
baby.
couple of performances that I'm never the guy that goes, this isn't country music. But there were a couple of times last night where I was like, okay, listen, I like this, but this is not country music.
Ed Sheeran?
No, it's not.
Well, Ed Sheeran wasn't supposed to be country, but like,
I didn't mind.
I didn't mind that at all.
At all.
But
I thought it
okay,
was-
so having him on there served what purpose? And I'm not dissing on Ed Sheeran. I thought the actual performance with him and Luke Combs was great. But I'm just wondering, is he going to service that song? Are they going to treat it like a single?
song, the version with him and Luke Combs
As a
not,
single?
Not on country radio, but like it's going to be on pop radio. And
Well,
Luke
why
Combs
would they
is gonna
not
be
send
on
it to country radio? It was a good song.
they played it on our award.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, why would they not?
I think
just-
a lot of it comes back to just the relationship the two of them have.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought just
they
seeing it
just-
was
Yeah.
like,
I think a lot of people don't realize. I remember we talked to Chris about that, Stapleton, about when they did that thing at the CMA Awards with Justin Timberlake. He's the one who texted Justin like
he set up
2 weeks
so
before.
the CMAs calls up that he's nominated for Best New Artist. If you're nominated for Best New Artist, at least back then, I think it's still kind of similar. They give you a verse chorus. They give you about 90 seconds on the show because they want to have all those guys get a chance to perform. I remember Maddie and Tay performed that night because they announced the radio winners right after the thing, but they just do the first verse and then the chorus of their song, and then that's it. Well, Chris Stapleton, they called him up and they said, well, you get 90 seconds on the show. Let us know what song you want to do, what your arrangement is, et cetera. So he called Justin and asked if he would perform with him. And he called the CMAs back and said, if I can get Justin Timberlake to perform with me, could I get a little more time? They went, we'll give you 8.5 minutes, which is an entire that's like a whole segment of the show
That was
dedicated
brilliant
to a
for
guy.
Chris
Genius.
because it made his career. That was a defining moment.
It was so awesome. It really was. But
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. I think
It
you
is.
can find
It is on YouTube. Actually, you can find that. It's there. So
But yeah, it was a great night. A lot of people are like, I missed it. I didn't even know where. And I mean, It wasn't on regular TV. It was on a streaming service, and I don't know. We'll have to see how this works out because it's not. People think live event like a game or awards. You think it's on TV, not Amazon Prime. So I don't know. I have to see how this over the next few years, if they keep doing it.
They don't have to announce any kind of ratings
Numbers,
for it at all. They don't have
No,
to
they
say.
don't have to. But if they used to get, say, 8 million people watching it, and now we don't know what it is, but say it's only 3, that's not. Yes, they're still getting paid by Amazon, blah blah blah, but it's not really. It doesn't accomplish the same thing. It doesn't have the same impact.
Right.
That great performance that Justin Timberlake and Chris Stapleton that literally
nobody saw it.
blew his whole career up and changed his life. If less people see it, it's not as impactful. So, I mean, Lainey Wilson and Jelly Roll last night was it was amazing. And actually, a friend of mine who was at the awards texted and said, "We're so lucky to have Lainey Wilson. Like,
for sure.
She's such a blessing to country music, and it's so great that she's becoming a star." And I said, "Yeah, and also Jelly Roll.
Yeah.
Like, think about how great it is that guy is in our format, because he could have done, and he has done everything. But he was like, nope, I'm going to be country music. This is where I'm at. This is what I want to do." And he's fantastic. And it was, I thought he got a new tattoo because it said Music Man on his forehead. I'd never noticed that before because then I went and looked at pictures, and it's usually that his hair is kind of covering it. And he had it kind of pulled back. So he had this very prominent tattoo across his forehead that I'd never noticed before in all the times I've been around him.
I remember the first time he came in, I walked outside the studio. He and I are standing there, just the two of us, outside the parking lot. And I'm just, I started looking at his face, and I go, "What is, what's that one? What's that for?" It's like what is it? "Oh, yeah, no, that's like our logo, kind of creed, you know." Well, yeah, okay, what about that one? What is it? What's that? "Oh, yeah, I got this one." And he's just started going down this lineage of his face tattoos. I'm like, "Does that hurt?" Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hurts.
It's your face. Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is, though, if you have one, you might as well have 100.
I mean,
I mean,
As soon as you put one, because if you put just one, everyone's going to go, "Hey, you got something on your
That's true.
face." But if you have just a face full of them, everyone goes, "Oh, he's a face tattoo."
Well, most
Angela,
people.
what did I tell you last night about getting tattoos on your face? Don't do it. That's
do
right.
it.
Don't
Don't put
kids,
tattoo.
don't get tattoos on your face.
And I would say don't put them anywhere on your arms. Just don't get a tattoo. Yeah. That's it. Thank you. Yeah.
See, and I'm
Run
not,
for
I'm not
president.
I'm not anti-tat at all.
I'll vote for
But yeah, you gotta think about the children.
Well, it's got to think about, you're going to get hired by someone. You go, what?
Yeah,
Depends
that's
on
why
what
you don't do the.
I
face
dated a
ones.
guy who wouldn't get tattoos anything below, like, right just above his elbow. And the idea was he could even wear short sleeves to work, and nobody knew that
Nobody
he had
would
them.
know.
Yep.
I mean, it's not such a thing anymore. I mean, people have them. But,
Very accepted now.
but back for a while there, it was like if you got a tattoo, you were also in a gang.
Yes.
or if you had a face
Grandpa.
tattoo,
That's
you've
exactly
been to
how it
prison.
works.
Yeah.
Yes, the rebel rousers.
I was like
motorcycle gang.
6 years old when we did summer camp in the park. And I remember there was this old guy, he had tattoos on his arm. They were all faded, like he was in the Navy, and he had all these Navy tattoos. And I remember him saying, "Listen, kid, whatever you do, don't get any tattoos." And I thought, that's good advice. And I've
I'm a
stuck
park
with that.
guy.
I wish he would have said
Old
to
guy
you,
in the
"Listen,
park.
kid, don't eat cupcakes.
Don't get fat." I did.
Can
Whenever
you pass
someone
some
says,
cupcakes,
"Do
by
you
the way?"
have advice for XYZ for these kids?" I always say the exact same thing, and people get mad at me, but I always say, "Don't get fat." And I think that's good advice.
I think it's great advice.
Don't get fat. Take it from someone who knows.
And by the way, there's so much of a push right now for body acceptance. Let me tell you something. As a guy who has been both skinny and fat, you want to be skinny. You do. And don't tell me any of these body acceptance people don't want to be skinny too. The problem is it's really hard to get skinny once your body gets used to being fat.
Yep.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to put, I say nobody, a lot of people don't want to put in the work. So instead of putting in the work to make themselves better and healthier, I need to do it too. I'm
I
not
know.
calling
We're
anybody
all
out.
saying it
That's
like
what I'm saying.
we're not sitting here.
I'm just as guilty. But what I'm saying is it's so much work that it's daunting, and it's much easier to go, "Oh no, this is dad bod, accept me."
It's
That
also
kind
your
of
body.
thing.
That's the thing. People also think it's that black and white. I remember like 6 radio stations ago, I was talking on the air one morning about that I would love to lose weight, and I've tried this and I've tried that. And some woman tweeted, and she's like, yeah, if you wanted to be thin, you would be. So this is a you problem.
It's
and
not-
I'm like,
it's not that
ma'am,
easy.
do you know how much weight I have lost over the years? Probably 4 of you.
Yeah.
Right? But again, the gaining in your body, metabolism's what we've done to our bodies growing up, or if this started when you were older, like
Our food.
yeah,
Genetics,
Food-
all
it's
kinds
a
of things
whole
play
thing.
into
So yeah,
these little cupcakes.
yeah. But I mean, it's a weird. I know they're trying to now like regulate fat acceptance or something, and I'm like,
No.
that's a
Regulate.
I'm
fat
totally
acceptance.
against that.
Yeah.
And I say this as a big fat guy. I don't want this to be. I don't want this to become pushed. Like this is a good thing. I agree. You shouldn't shame fat people. No one should be mean to anybody. But we also shouldn't glorify people who are 200 pounds overweight and say, yeah, that's healthy too. It's not. It's just not. Period. There's no version of you that wouldn't be healthier
Every
if you
time
didn't
that-
weigh 50 pounds less.
Every time
if
that
you're that
Gatorade
big.
commercial comes on and they're
That's
doing
it.
yoga, my dad gets so mad. I don't want to see this on my TV because he's so old school.
And then you get the old man, and that's how it comes down.
No, my mom, who spent her entire life obsessed with her weight and then obsessed with mine, and she'll watch Jeopardy, and there's an overweight contestant, and there's comments, and I'm like, what? Why? Why are you offended by this person's existence? But I know because it's been ingrained in her for decades.
I don't have a problem with a fat person being on Jeopardy, but I do not like seeing a fat person on the weight loss thing, saying or on the cover of Fit magazine, and they have somebody as big as me, and I go,
No.
no.
What's
you
the
can
guy?
Lie
What's
to
the guy
yourself
who
all
used
you
to,
want, but
who used to be cousin Randy? Not cousin Randy, but it was Randy on
Randy Quaid?
My Name Is Earl.
no.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
hadn't asked me, I could have told you.
Dude, yeah, that.
Randy.
Yeah, I can see it.
My Name Is Earl. That dude, he
Ethan
was huge.
Suplee?
Ethan
Yes,
Suplee.
he was huge.
Yeah,
Huge.
he got up to like almost 500 pounds.
And he just one day he had a little. I remember watching some podcast with him or whatever, and he was talking about it. He was like, "Man, it hit me. I had to fix me." And
But
everybody,
also, it took him the better part of 10 years.
yeah,
That's the thing that everybody thinks it's going to be 6 months. And it took him almost a decade. And he's famous
yeah,
and has some money. And it took him that long.
and trainers and all
that's
that
what I
kind of
mean.
stuff. Yeah,
So
Yeah.
the rest of us, past the cupcakes. So
here they're right here.
I know.
There you go.
People shouldn't be fat. Here, give me a cupcake.
give me cupcakes.
No, I just don't want them pushing that stuff on kids, man. Like, it's a fine line. Like, I don't want you to shame kids because they're overweight. I was a fat kid. It was awful. I got picked on, and I got pressured to not be fat, and it was tough. But at the same time, you don't want to go to these kids and go, it's okay, just be yourself. No, just be yourself is the worst advice we give people in this world. If you want to be yourself, you'd sit at home and do nothing all day. You'd accomplish nothing. Like, that's not good. You got to try to be a better version of yourself, whatever that is. This is my TED Talk.
Okay.
I feel like we got all of Lainey's acceptance speeches put right into that.
Yeah. That's,
Lainey's acceptance speech. What was the quote? The takeaway at the very end? If you're going to be a dreamer, be a doer.
But then she also said something about like everybody else is already taken, so be yourself or something. So it just feels like we just discussed
Yeah,
everything that
that's
she
right.
summed up in acceptance speeches.
Thank you, Lainey. Lainey Wilson.
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
This week, you guys were so excited about Emilio Estevez being on the show. Of course, a big movie star. I didn't know half the movies that you guys were quoting.
Dude, but you knew Mighty Ducks, though, right?
I knew Mighty Ducks.
Okay. He was
And Breakfast Club.
yeah, Breakfast Club, Mighty
Okay, he was in
Ducks.
Breakfast
What was the other one you liked?
Santa Mo's Fire.
Men at Work.
Men at Work, Repo Man,
Young Guns.
1 and 2.
Dude, his Billy the Kid may be the only Billy the Kid that ever matters in the
Did
history.
you see what his Twitter handle is?
No, what?
It's like William H. Bonney.
oh.
No.
Yes. Because I
What?
might have tagged him in something.
What?
I was like, hey, Emilio, remember that time we talked to you?
Did you do that?
I,
Did you tag him?
I tagged him on Instagram.
What's your? I forget. You leave and I forget your name. Patrick. What? Did you see Carson's?
Yeah,
Reel?
AKA William H. Bonney on Instagram.
Did you see her
For the
reel?
ACMs last night? How many different dresses did you try?
4.
4. I was like,
all
I'm not
edited.
sure. Oh, it's so great.
Also, I didn't know it. Today is his birthday.
Oh, well, look at
Happy
that.
birthday, Emilio Estevez.
HBD.
We have the interview from the show that we're going to put on right after the closing jingle. If you're listening to it, if you're not listening and you're watching on YouTube, it will be a separate video, and you can just search around on our channel. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss stuff like this, all the live stuff as well. Just Big D and Bubba, and you'll be able to find us, and you'll find it.
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
This was the podcast, but now it's over. But that's okay, because you can listen to the regular show.
Where?
On the radio.
Oh, okay.
Every day.